welcome back to London. Thank you for taking the time out for your busy old schedule. I know you're whizzing around. I wish you brought a little bit of Hawaiian weather with you, but
I did my best.
You did your best.
This is it.
This is it. Well, I'm very grateful for Louise taking the time out for the interview with AHA magazine. Louise is a renowned energy healer and a certified Tai Chi, Qigong and Feng Shui practitioner. Louise's list of energy healing modalities where she seems to have integrated all this extraordinary kind of perennial wisdom and knowledge and presenting it in a very sort of accessible and practical way for us all to use. So thank you, Louise. If you were to describe yourself, and I imagine you're having to do this quite a lot, how do you describe the work that you do?
I would say that the work that I'm doing is basically getting rid of any things, blocks, unnecessary obstacles in the client-patient's field that would prevent them or inhibit them from being their best including mental, emotional, physical health. On the healing aspect, clearing everything so that their chi, their inner life force, essentially heals themselves.
Yes.
Garbage man. Ultimately the garbage man.
Ultimately, yeah. Garbage man.
Yeah.
So the objective really is for people to regain, I know it's a word that you use, I've heard you use before, their own sovereignty.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know, I think the beautiful thing I see about a lot of people, not only in becoming well after illness and struggle, is that they are more themselves. Once you get rid of all the baggage that we carry, whether it is a physical ailment that has allowed us to look at the energetic side of things that we've been lugging around for years and years, or if it is strictly on a emotional or mental level, you know, again, the physical and the energy, there is no line between the two, but sometimes it manifests in the physical, so we take a good look at it, and so we're able to address it. But no matter what it is, when people start getting rid of stuff they don't need, the sovereignty is achieved because they start to really feel like themselves. You know, so they've always been themselves. People say, oh, what a change has happened, but it's not like you're different, it's you're more you. Yeah. That's kind of cool.
Yes, I saw a quote the other day, I'm not sure who said it, but it was great. It said, we don't want to conquer illness, we want to master health. So I thought, that was you.
Yeah.
I thought it was you.
That sounded familiar, didn't it?
Exactly. My research department is...
They do well.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a great quote. And I wasn't quite sure, I hadn't scribbled, you know, who said it, but it's still not my, just in case. Oh, good, that's great. Well, that's wonderful. So it's actually back to kind of homeostasis. Really.
Absolutely. Our birthright, our given right, before we came to the planet.
Yeah.
So.
And Louise, can you give us a little bit about your background? A Hawaiian family, but born in the States, and then the journey back in a way.
So my family, my father's from Japan originally, and migrated to Kentucky at 15, where all good Japanese boys go in like 1920 or something. My mother's born and raised in Hawaii, so I am of both parents of Japanese background. My mother from Hawaii has, I guess, which is now part of the United States, which is really absurd, but it's a place unto itself, and it's totally magical. I was born and raised in New York, and at 20 went to visit, or went with them to Hawaii, and I stayed for about 13 years then, moved to LA, came back to Hawaii, time and time and time again, because my parents had moved there, and it is home. It is home for me now.
Yeah.
It is home in my heart, and I am a New Yorker.
Yes.
And I lived in LA for 20 years, so I've got that thing too. I live near water. I have to be near coasts and water. And the journey of this whole idea of working with this energy and understanding, getting to where I am today has always been about looking for the magic. Looking for the magic in life, knowing that whatever I was pursuing, there had to be some magic behind it. It wasn't what you see is what you get.
And what were you pursuing? You were doing lots of different modalities. You were dancing and a lot of energy work, basically. That was the foundation.
Indeed. I had a career as a dancer and choreographer, a rather successful career, and in the elevator version, numerous grants and awards on the legit dance theater side. I would teach dance. I had dance studios, I had dance companies, and I was a choreographer in Los Angeles, did movies, videos, the whole bit. So it was a wonderful, vibrant, fantastic career, and dance has been incredible.
Yeah.
And I had the sidebar action of martial arts going because I felt that there was more, and I wanted to learn more. And in all the different martial art modalities that I explored were in quest for the magic. Which teacher, which sensei, which sifu knew the magic? And fortunately, I picked up a lot of interesting information in the process. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until I met Dr. Cam Yun, and may I say that as an athlete, as a dancer, and I eat, slept, dance 24/7. It was my life and my love. And with the martial arts, by the time I was in my late 30s, everything hurt. By the time you're hitting 40, I was thinking, oh my God, what's going to happen? How am I going to get out of it? Let's just end it right now. And the physical toil it takes on the body is extraordinary. And to see it become more taxing and more difficult, not to perform, but to perform with pain and a smile on your face and trying to just keep it going. I thought, this is deep. This is really deep. But until I met a 35th generation Shaolin martial arts master, Dr. Cam Yun, whose background as a chiropractor, engineer, and extraordinary martial art master. He was also the stunt coordinator on a TV series called Kung Fu with David Carradine that ran for many, many years. Yeah. And he's pretty amazing. Well, he took his knowledge and created a method of reverse engineering of disease. I became his student, then his assistant, and then we're still dear friends to this day. His work has taken a different trajectory, and what I wanted to do with my work is to incorporate other things that I had studied and learned, and keeping my respect for the purity of his work, it was necessary for me to leave the fold. And as I said, done so with his blessings, and to this day we still are dear friends, and we have tremendous respect for each other's work. And so that's how the journey came about.
So you've been dancing with energy?
Yes, absolutely.
For a long time?
For a long time. And much of what I discovered in dance was how to make someone able to dance. It wasn't just about 5, 6, 7, 8, follow me and do these steps. Yeah. Because I can see within a person what it took to make them own it, so that they could find the bit. I could make a non-dancer dance and not make it, but I could help them find the thing where they go, oh my gosh, you mean that's how you do it? Whoa, and they'll own it. You know, they may not look like Baryshnikov, yeah, but they'll own it. And that is such a joy for me to see people have that sovereignty, have that, I get it. It's that aha. Again, it's these like bits of enlightenment where they go, oh, I get it. Aha,
Yeah.
That's it.
And when did you get it? When did you make that kind of leap to thinking, okay, I'm ready now to sort of, to spread the word, disseminate this a little bit and put yourself out there? It's quite a brave move, isn't it, always?
No, it was a natural evolution. I'm a mother and I'm a grandmother, so as a mother, whatever it is that I learn and discover, I got to teach my kids. And they're like, could we have a day without a lesson, please? Hold it. No, wait, let me explain it to you. So the reason that, so it's the mother in me that wants people to have that I have, and I want you to know. I want you to know how to do it, because if I'm not here, you need to know how to do it.
Yeah. So it's kind of practical, easy to do.
Yeah.
And demystifying it.
Demystifying it, absolutely, absolutely. Because I had many mystifying teachers, including Dr. Yun, who's brilliant, but he was very much a traditional Chinese martial art master, as many of my teachers were, would say, okay, I'm about to do it. And I said, all right, I'm watching. I did it. And I went, what did you do? And I go, oh, God, I'm going to do it again. Watch carefully. I go, okay. All right, I did it. And I go, what did you do? And I go, oh, for goodness sakes, watch carefully. Here we go. I did it. There it is. Right. And many teachers are like that. And they say, you do this. And I go, could you break that down? They go, no, watch me again. So, so as a choreographer, I would break things down so that everybody got it. They weren't following along, hoping that they're getting it and trying not to be embarrassed. I said, no, here's exactly what we're doing. Let me show you the trick behind the moonwalk. Let me show you the balance behind here. And they go, you're kidding. That's it? I got this. And that's that. That's the sovereignty where everybody feels like,
and that's a very much the kind of East meets West brain too, isn't it? Because you wanted to have this kind of proof. You wanted to see it actually.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Which is great. Which then helps as you go out and talk about this.
Yes.
Because you're answering the questions in a way that a lot of people are going to ask you.
Yes.
You've already asked them yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I want it to be accessible. I don't want you to have to believe in this. It's not a belief system. I want you feel it and you know it and you can do it, then it's your magic, not my magic, your magic.
And you've distilled this down really into IQM, so integrative quantum medicine.
Yes.
So IQM, can you tell us a little bit about what IQM is?
It is an integration, a combination of a number of different modalities that I have and philosophies that I've studied that work. And I do believe everything works, everything from Western allopathic to acupuncture, chiropractic, Reiki, aromatherapy, prayer. It all works. Everything works. So I don't feel, my way or the highway by any means. And some things work better than others, and some aspects of different modalities work a really high percentage of the time. So what I've tried to do is incorporate the best of the best into IQM, Integrative Quantum Medicine. That's why we call it IQM, because it is a mouthful. So it incorporates traditional Chinese medicine philosophy where everything is connected, everything matters. The directions, the numbers, the scents, the colors, the seasons, everything is connected, everything has an effect on each other. Qigong, Qi, many of your viewers I'm sure understand the word Qi, the invisible life force. Gong means to work, so we are working the Qi. And I go into further detail, obviously, with the class explaining that. So we are working the Qi. Chinese energetic medicine, which is the modality that Dr. Cam Yuen created, from whose brilliance, I would say my work is based on his prototype. His work was the inspiration for me creating IQM. So if I were to give credit to one person, he would be the man. Quantum mechanics, understanding everything is energy, that's the bottom line behind quantum mechanics. And physiology and anatomy. So my course is designed for the layman. Many doctors have taken this. I taught 75 doctors in Cuba the technique, and they loved it. So people who do have a background can appreciate and enjoy it, as well as those who know nothing about anything. It's a great opportunity to have an understanding of how the body functions, basic stuff, basic function, you know, what's connected to what, and physiology, how things can go wrong, how things can become broken, therefore, how to reverse engineer it and make it well. And the point is to be in our best state, best condition, best form that we can be in, so we can rock.
And are you still adding to it? I mean, have you found by returning to your mother's homeland of Hawaii, are you sort of tapping into the kind of Huna tradition again a little bit? Are you integrating a little bit of that?
Yeah, every single day
yeah.
I'm learning new. Every single day I receive and absorb, and I learn from my friends, and I learn from the environment, and I learn from my dreams, and I learn from TV. I figure as long as I'm still here, I'm still learning, and I will constantly improve and expand upon this to make it simpler, easier, faster, and for everybody.
And the corporations have embraced this too, haven't they?
Yes. And initially in 2000, this was something, and it was 2001. It was actually after the 9/11 disaster. Klaus Schwab from the World Economic Forum asked me to create a presentation for stress management. Dealing with corporate stress, I had bits and pieces of it coming from the showbiz world and producing a few things and directing things, so I could see how, lovely to be able to do the dance part and all that, but I did have to get involved in that other aspect. I also ended up being managing director of Quincy Jones' Listen Up Foundation, a nonprofit organization, and he's a very amazing, powerful artist, excuse me, and music mogul. So, running with the really big dogs in that nonprofit scene, and the level of stress was insane. And
you're glossing over that a bit, because that led to this wonderful project in South Africa.
Yes, it truly.
Can you tell a little bit about that?
Sure.
The Quincy Jones connection.
Sure. So the Quincy Jones connection came about because one of my best friends is Miss Atala Shabazz, who is Malcolm X's eldest daughter, and we have, used to say, we've known each other 20 years. Well, 20 more years have gone by, so I guess that's one of our 40-something years now. And she's a dear friend of Quincy's, and they had a project that he was doing to build. He had made a promise to Nelson Mandela to build 100 homes in the poorest areas of South Africa on Nelson Mandela's birthday. He made that promise. So this was the time he was about to fulfill this. And he was going to start with a fundraiser in South Central Los Angeles, which is a very at-risk type of an area with incredible potential for so many people, and economically very challenging. So we put something together which managed to be very successful. And because I produced in the past, Atala asked me if I would get involved in this, and I said, with who's your person? Quincy, who? Well, all right, let me see if I have time. Yeah, I do. So we did something. Quincy and I hit it off like a house on fire, and we decided, he asked me, would you like to go to South Africa and meet Nelson Mandela, and let's continue this project? And I thought, let me see if I have time. Yeah, I think I do. So it was extraordinary. We selected 5 youths out of over 150 applicants who were either survivors of abuse, gang life, poverty, et cetera, who had turned their lives around and become pillars in their community. And we brought them to the motherland. And they got to meet Nelson Mandela, et cetera, with CAA, Creative Artists Association, Artists for a New South Africa, ANSA, as well as the Quincy Jones Listen Up Foundation.
Yes.
And so it was wonderful meeting these incredible people whose love of life and support for their community and desire to build and work together, it was just extraordinary. So, you know, so yes, the spiritual thing was just, and then the plethora of organizational aspects was unbelievable. And I had to kind of run this whole thing. So I had so many hats going on. It was like, and I was like, no, I'm not stressed. What would make you think I'm stressed? I don't understand, you know. So I sensed this as well. So cut to, after we had the extraordinary experience in South Africa, which I did get to bring my healing there and enjoy meeting the healing women there, these Sangoma women who we didn't need to speak a mutual language because we spoke the mutual language and we'd have people lined up and I'd be doing healing every day and they'd point and I'd do something and they'd go. And by the end of the whole trip, they got some beads and put it in my hair and they went, "You, official witch doctor." I said, "Yeah, right on." But after that, he asked me if I would like to come to the World Economic Forum in that following 6 months later in Davos in February. Well, they ended up changing the Davos location to New York because this was post 9/11. And in support of the city, in support of the idea of not being afraid of New York as a target point, that the world would come together and hold this incredible international forum in the mother city of the world chaos. So at that time, I ended up presenting, and this was post Quincy now, and having gone with them to the World Economic Forum, we had a wonderful time, et cetera, and then it was time for me to depart and go back to my real life of all this other stuff. But having met some of the heads during that period, they asked me if I would like to come back as me the year after and present something for stress management. And I thought, this is extraordinary.
Yeah, what an opportunity.
What an opportunity, not only for me, but for these people of the world in the highest level of stress to see something that they can hold and access that could change their lives on the spot. So I had all these martial art kind of techniques and ways that I've always wanted to shape into a program to give to people, to say, you know, I mean, all the ones who meditate, all the ones who do yoga, and all that, they're going to be fine. Yeah. But these folks don't have time for that. Their idea of meditating is closing one eye at the red light, you know, and then they're gone. So, excuse me. So to be able to present something like this, it was extraordinary. So I developed this thing called the art of stress management that people could use and do during a meeting, you know, hit certain points, do all this stuff, and whew, blood pressure goes down, heart rate goes down. Suddenly they're relaxed, whereas they had walked in thinking, ah. By the time, you know, 2 seconds go by, five seconds, man, if they have 5 minutes and nobody can see they're doing it. Yeah. So they're in the middle of a meeting or driving in their car at the airport, they do 1 or 2 little things and bam, they are there, and I got to present this. Yeah. So from there, other corporations had invited me to come and do things for their company. And Klaus Schwab, who is the head of the World Economic Forum, the creator of it, brought me into his headquarters twice to do this for his employees. Yeah. That kind of consciousness to me is wonderful. It's wonderful. It's like a dad taking care of the family. And the employees not only have a tool, but they have the awareness that their employer cares enough about their well-being to bring something as kind of way out as this, yet effective for them to embrace. And they did. They all embraced it.
I suppose it's almost like a bit like a sort of Trojan horse too, isn't it? In the sense that you've got this through you've got through their first offences in a way,
Exactly.
and you've opened them up perhaps to go off and, on their own journeys now.
Absolutely.
To discover.
Absolutely, and my desire now, besides of course teaching the IQM, but my desire is now to return to the corporate sector because I want to teach people these tools because then from the trickle-down effect, and then they choose to then show it to the employees and the lower tiers, so to speak. But just, I know it has to start with the executives who say, okay, are we bringing some woo chicken to do some and no, actually, no, I'm going to teach you some other stuff.
In a sense, did it help sort of bringing this kind of New Yorker to them too, because you've had this training, that's solid. It's absolutely something that they can see, and you're talking to them in a way that they can be relaxed.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that is also my nature. I'm going to just believe in something because you tell me to believe it. So show me. I want to see proof. I want to know. Show me. Right?